Let's go back to Kelly Shultz. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how are you?
Fine.
I know that you have more people that want to call in. I just wanted to make one more point, and then I'll let you and Anita go. But there was another comment last night, and it was about how the county workers, have taken these jobs because they thought that it was a really secure job and they can move out, continue basically as, a lifetime job. And, that would be really great in an environment where we may not be in such an economic crisis. But I think it's very good also for the county workers, not only to see what you guys need to do in order to listen to them, but they need to understand, too, that every single person in our county and across our state is also fighting for their jobs.
Yep.
And I know that they provide a service, and I'm very thankful for that service, but I fight for my job every day. And so we all have to look at this as a community and a cumulative solution, and not just say, I came on here because I thought I was going to have a job forever. We need to be a little bit more realistic about that.
How long have you worked for your employer?
3 years.
How many days of sick leave you get?
Well, I get 2 weeks, which rolls in sick leave and vacation.
So it's 2 weeks of sick leave and vacation.
Mm-hmm.
How many paid holidays you get?
I get federal holidays.
Okay.
But that's
how many is that? 11?
I don't know.
I think it's 11, but I never count because, honest to God, I typically work on holidays just because there's so much work to do.
Yeah. I was making a point, and I don't know, and I'm going to bring this up with Anita at some point, trying to figure out how we got there. But like a 0 to 2 year employee, in other words, you were hired by the county right now. 0 to 2 years, you get 9.75 days sick accrual and 9.75 accrual annual accrual. Then plus with the 13 holidays, you're looking at 32 days.
Mm-hmm.
First year.
Mm-hmm.
Now you break that down to a work week. You're talking about 6 weeks.
And
wait a second, it gets better. Hold on. Now, if you make it past 2 years, you get 16.25 sick accrual, 16.25 annual, plus your 13 holidays. Now you're up to 45 days.
Yeah, but you got to remember one thing.
That's 9 weeks.
You got to remember one thing. At that one point in time, the government was competing with the private sector because the private sector was very rich.
I understand.
Now you talk about all those days off. Now my son's a union member and doesn't get sick leave.
Mm-hmm. Now wait a second.
Well,
you don't work, you don't pay.
It gets better. It gets better. If you make it to 10 years, 22.75 sick accrual and 22.75 annual, plus your 13 holidays, you're talking about close to 60 days. Mm-hmm. 60 days. Now break that down to a work week. 5 days.
I figured that, yeah.
You're talking about 12 weeks.
Potentially 12 weeks. But a lot of people, you have to realize, don't take those numbers.
I completely understand. Didn't say they took them. I'm saying it's available. Now, of course, with sick, you have unlimited carryover that could use towards credible service at the time of retirement. 22 days equals 1 month, maximum 2 years. Annual is maximum 30-day carryover. All unused annual converts into sick.
So you get paid for it.
So
when you retire, then you get paid for that.
All I'm trying to say is, once somebody's earned something, I don't think you take it from them, but I do think you have to do a self-examination whether or not you're giving too much.
Well, and I think that's fair.
Too, I think that if you listen to them, what they will tell you is that they are not making the money that the private sector makes, and so they're really relying on those benefits. That's the argument that I've heard at the state level, and that's the argument at the federal level.
And Kelly, that's the way it was set up. A lot of people went into actually, somebody called in last Wednesday and said they left government to go to the private sector to make more money.
Exactly.
You go to the private sector to make a bigger, faster buck. But if you go to the government, it was always understood that you were going to have a pension or whatever you want to call it down the road.
And that's what we're dealing with the state employees right now, that very same issue. So I get that argument. So there's a give and take. There's a back and forth. I understand that. But it sounded to me last night like there were some reasonable people that were proposing, okay, well, give us those furlough days, or give us, take away some of the benefits for the people that are going to be starting up new, and make that new employee package look different to be able to decrease gradually those amount of benefits that are coming through.
Well, there was one big swipe that was done last year. The question is whether or not you got to do it again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, some of it was looked at. Now, again, someone talked about the pension plan. But people need to realize, if you make $50,000 to work for the county, non-uniform, okay? Currently, you put up 4% of your pay, $2,000. The taxpayers from the general fund match 18%, $9,000. $2,000 from the employer, $9,000 from the general fund from the taxpayers. That's $11,000 a year. That's a defined benefit, not a match. That means no matter what the market does or where the plan is at, when you retired, it's guaranteed.
That's right. And that was part of the pension plan that we were reviewing at the state level as well.
Yeah.
The difference between the defined plan. And that's a tough one, because you have to go, are you going to, the already retired when you talk about, reevaluating the entire pension plan. I don't envy the position that you guys are in, but I know that it has to be done, and I know it's a painful process. And I don't know how many people have called in to say that, they don't like the way that the process is going because people are just having a shouting match. But if there are other people out there that feel that way, I'm right there with them. Because this is a conversation that you and I and Anita are having with the rest of your listening audience that I think should be able to be done. I think we should be able to sit down and be able to talk about what the opportunities are, what the solutions are.